The harm is done, right? Like a future president could come back in and restart USAID, but like things change, the world moves on, and it becomes hard to these complex systems. It becomes very challenging to put them back together in a way that they worked before, and so we're not going to be able to save as many people's lives as we were before. I think that's true about everything. It's certainly true about the Justice Department. Just think about the people that are checking out, the career people. You focused on the folks that were fired, rightly. Think about the people that are just choosing to leave, right?
Yep.
And then think about what types of people are being attracted to go into the government right now. Who wants to go work for Kristi Noem and Kash Patel and Pam Bondi? And it is going to take a generation to unwind all of that stuff. And just as one example of the people that are going back in versus those coming out, there's a CNN story by my friend Andy Kaczynski about this Paula Ingracia who's going into the DOJ this week.
Dear Democrats, if you've watched this far, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and write your thoughts in the comments.
And here's the sentence. He has a year of government experience. He just passed the bar. He has a history of racist invective, conspiratorial rants, and an affinity with a well-known Holocaust denier. That's what Andy Kaczynski's reporting. Like, these are the types of people that are going in. Good people who are trying to do the work are either getting fired or leaving. Like, it is going to be a long time before we can put Humpty Dumpty back together.
President Macron of France earlier today said that tariffs levied by powerful countries are often a form of blackmail. And criticized, the sort of process that's underway. He didn't mention the United States specifically, but said that these tariffs are really hurting developing countries. So there's this big UN conference going on. What do you say to that? What is the president, was he aware of that comment, and did he have any response?
I think the president and the White House would certainly reject that characterization by Prime Minister Macron. Tariffs are an effective use of...
I'm just waiting out to hear just exactly everything. We've been breaking it down piece by piece.
So you're taking issue with the CBO estimate here?
Yes, ma'am, I do have an issue with it. The office is very partisan. I mean, 85% of the people in their healthcare division identify as a Democrat, or they've contributed to Democrats, or they're registered Democrats. They're leading, I believe their leading economist is that. We ought to do away with these organizations because we use them when we like them, we don't use them when we don't like them, and you've got a bunch of bureaucrats in here that are on a lifetime gravy train. And frankly, we've got independent agencies that can do that. We have people up here with accounting degrees that can do the math. So I feel like that is a waste of taxpayers' money.
So in January 2024, there was a Republican who trusted the CBO so much that they reintroduced a resolution to require the House clerk to read the CBO estimate of any bill. I believe that was you, sir, the third time you introduced that resolution. Is that right?
That's correct, ma'am. Of course, and that proves
but
just
you
what
don't
I
like
said.
The, you don't like the CBO
us,
now.
Ma'am?
But you don't like the CBO now. You introduced that resolution over multiple years, but now you're dissing the CBO.
Did the bill pass?
Your resolution?
Did the bill pass? Yes, ma'am.
You introduced it, sir.
I know
it's
it,
irrelevant.
But did it pass? They never pass because nobody wants any verification. It proves my point. When it serves us well,
you took a stance and you were
we're for it, but when it doesn't, we don't. So
you're clear about where you are on the CBO. I just want to say, but just to get to where you said earlier that you were closer to voting yes after speaking with the president. I saw the vice president sent you put a nice tweet up that you responded to. What did the president say to you that made you feel maybe closer to voting yes?
He talked about the economic output that we would have that was not in the CBO scores, and along those lines, he talked about other things that I'm not going to share, but because it was in privacy. But I think there's a lot of things that probably be revealed when this is passed, and I think America will embrace it further. I think again, once you do some things like straighten up Medicaid and Medicare, and you dispute a lot of the lies that are in the media about people getting kicked off, I think America understands what we're up against in this. We're up against people want to call it the swamp up here, but it's really just a sewer. It's a man-made thing that just it doesn't produce anything, and it fights us every step of the way. And so I think once you allow Americans to get out and work and actually force those to work and get them off the couch that some of them are on, that are in the illegals and folks that are gaming the system, I think you're going to see that this country will bust wide open economically, and I think that's going to be a great thing for this country.
Well, the CBO, which you put so much trust in for years and years, that you passed a resolution wanting estimates read before bills, is very clear about how many people are going to be kicked off of health care until you were against the CBO.
No, ma'am. You listen. If you want to do the editorial, just go ahead, and you don't need me on here. But the
These
CBO,
are facts, sir. I don't have to editorialize.
Scores. I would like to see what the economic output of every bill. You as a taxpayer should want that too. And the CBO is the only organization we have. If I could allow a private accounting firm to do it, I would much rather that happen. But the reality is it would have to be the CBO. And what do you have against knowing how much each bill is spent? Why is the media opposed to that? Why do you all on the left always fight every chance at America knowing what's going on? The problem y'all have with this bill, ma'am, is that it gets government out of our way and lets Americans make some decisions, and maybe hardworking Americans would have a better choice and a better shot at life in this country without you all just telling us how bad things are going and trying to construct, and as you're doing with me, trying to dictate what I've said. And the reality is the CBO is a partisan organization, and the reality is America has a right to know how much we're spending on every piece of legislation. I cannot believe you as a member of the media would not want open records, and that is exactly what that bill would do.
Sir, we have reported on what is in this bill. We do that time and again.
Ma'am, you all are trying to scare, are you talking about the big beautiful bill? You all just try to scare America by telling millions of people are going to be cut off this thing. You're talking about the people that are on it illegally, that are gaming the system, and that is. And
no, we're not. The CBO is very
clear. The bill does not do anything of what you've said, and all you've done is scare America, and you're not doing a service to this country, ma'am. And you all ought to start talking. You want to talk about transparency, and then there you are attacking me on a bill where I'm trying to make it transparent to how much we're spending on each piece of legislation. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
You wanted to have the CBO estimate, and you're now railing against CBO estimates.
That is the only organization at our disposal to do that.
Good enough for you, and we are reporting on it. Congressman Tim Burchett, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, ma'am. It's been a real pleasure.
It has been. Out front.
If you've watched the video up to this point, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and write your thoughts in the comments.
Now think about this. If flying we're an Olympic sport in this country, Donald Trump wouldn't just take home the gold medal, he'd rename the stadium after himself. Seriously, the guy is selling himself as this big, macho, tough guy. And I don't know whether to laugh or cry. The fact that he called Candace Owens to ask her to get Macron to delete the video about his wife. Seriously, you are the president of the United States and you're haggling with a podcaster over the phone. Is this the leader who's shaking up the world? Remember he had that love letter thing with the North Korean leader? Now he's shuttling between Macron and Candace Owens. And still some people are saying Trump is a strong leader. Seriously? Come on, look, the Miller said it beautifully. It will take decades to fix the damage this guy has done. And he's right. You cut USAID, and hungry people around the world get even hungrier. You undermine the Department of Justice, and good people flee the institution who replace them. You make room for Holocaust deniers. Then you go around saying, I'm saving the country. Give me a break. Even Nixon wasn't this reckless in history. Corruption, favoritism, self-promotion. Trump has taken this things to such a level that he has literally turned the presidency into his personal PR agency, and believe it or not, there are still people running after this man. I ask you, is this power, is this leadership? And of course, it's not enough. There are the poor Republicans lining up around him, one funnier than the next. You saw the Barchet example. The guy who worshipped CBO reports for years is now saying the CBO is biased. Hey, you were the one who proposed making CBO reports mandatory, right? What changed? Trump changed. They all fell in line out of fear. Is this what backbone is? Is this what patriotism is? On one side, they are playing with the health insurance and futures of millions of Americans. On the other side, they are preparing a showpiece for July 4th with a big and beautiful budget. Take the trouble to write in the comments who do you think is more dangerous, Trump's or these clowns who blindly follow him. In my opinion, both are in the same